Okay, that's bit rate, that's frame rate. Aim audio, let's just wait a moment for things to propagate around, see if a bit of a sound test can be picked up on. Oh good, someone else who knows this exists. Yes, this is one of those games I actually managed a physical copy of. Just the days when mono sound was even a thing people would think about. So how are we for audio levels right now? Handful of viewers. Relative loudness is alright. Good. So, well, let's get settled in. Maybe ping the old Skype group and see if there's any last-minute attendees. Beep, and so forth. Give them a moment to test the waters. No worries. Forget it, solo run, let's go. Difficulties. Yeah, normal. Stick to normal. 100 days, normal difficulty. Let's get going.
The U.S. and Russian presidents revealed today that they are all but ready to conclude talks on the reduction of existing nuclear arsenals and are prepared to ratify the historic agreement that promises to be a giant leap towards world peace in New York City on the 24th. President Weller is slated to arrive in New York City tomorrow and attend the ratification after some last-minute discussions with the Russian president, who's scheduled to fly in on the same day. In a press conference yesterday, a confident President Weller stated to the media that on the coming 24th, the United States and Russia should be delivering a very Merry Christmas present to the world. In other news,
yeah, just kind of one of those no-pants days over here in the year 2000. Aren't you glad we have the expansion pack enabled so we can have all that high-resolution fog? That static fog texture used to steam things up.
Let's go over this one last time. The substitution of the president will be executed the day after tomorrow in New York City. You are not to leave the president's side no matter what. Everything depends on that moment when there's no one but our operatives around him. If we miss this chance, it will...
Yeah, we're having this covert meeting while completely naked.
Can't afford any mistake.
While our contact stares directly at our junk.
Contact with Mr. Diaz in New York. He'll bring the tools and the weapons you need. That'll be all. Let's make this work. But man, put some clothes on, will you? And don't forget to act like a human once you're overground.
Our secret naked meetings. Being told to act human.
Johnny, are you there? I guess you're out again today. Maybe you're busy, but are you doing okay? Well, it's Christmas soon. The year's almost over. Johnny, you haven't forgotten our pact, have you? that we'll meet again this year under the Christmas tree in D.C. on Christmas Eve? I don't care how late you show up. Just meet me there, okay? I'll be waiting. Anyway, call me again when you get in.
People at Konami who really had down using game engines to do cinematography things. Some great cutscene design.
He's here.
Johnny? It is you, isn't it? Why didn't you recognize me? Is it just someone who looks like him?
Like, this was made fairly close to Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, maybe a year or two after?
That man. Kill him.
Why did you shoot?
Not now. There's something wrong with Mr. Diaz. We've got to get him below ground.
There's a witness.
The evidence is gone. There's no trace left.
Well, so much for that guy. Very glad we got to see him naked before he was shot by this fellow, Mr. Diaz. This wrestler here in the subway station. Very convenient of all these folks to just up and dissolve when they die. Very clean, very hygienic. Very amusing that that's actually like a plot point that they dissolve when killed. It's not just video game convention here. Elevator fight, shuffle aggressively. It has a very interesting combat system. Something you don't see done often. Thank God for safety compliance. Hover floor saves lives. Saves time, really. I mean, why even bother with the elevator if the hover floor can catch you? Just go with it. Just dive. Like, if you had to commute to work through this secret, you know, government conspiracy elevator... Anyway, we've arrived now. Welcome to gameplay. Just gonna briefly pause it. But yeah, if your way to work involved the secret conspiracy elevator with the hover floor at the bottom, wouldn't you jump? Just every day? You know, if you have any stuff, throw it down, watch it fall, and then just dive. Good times there. So yeah, welcome to gameplay. Well, half of gameplay. So what we are in right now, this is a weird little one-off property that Konami made for the Nintendo 64, and it is... the core of it is an action RPG built around wrestling moves, with then some other gameplay elements tacked on the side. It's a very weird little property, but it's fairly well put together, and it's entertaining to go through. So at the moment we are Mr. Diaz here, who was apparently supposed to be part of some clandestine operation until the voices in our head told us to shoot a man. Then we beat up our bodyguards, and now we're underground. Let's see here. So part of what we'll get around to when we actually see everything in motion here is, so we have a stat system that goes on where we have stats that are broken up between different parts of our body, and each of these stats will improve over time depending on what moves we use and what places we tend to get punched. There's also, an item and inventory system that will eventually fill up with various plot key items, consumables, single-use weapons. Move list we keep over here of just all the things that we know about. Right now we just have a handful of basic vanilla stuff. You learn more moves by getting into fights with people and using them. We know a remarkable, well, it doesn't play out being remarkable, just that they're all crammed into the one list. These are all our different grappling moves that we have. Each of them is available in different contexts, so this move list seems really big, but at a given time you can only do one or two of those, depending on what you've done to your enemy. We don't have any combos yet. Combos are something you custom build later on in the game after you've started leveling up. There are a couple of special ones. Options are options. Alright, let me remember what my control scheme is, because, I have a 64 controller mapped to a PS3 controller, so it's very hard to tell. Yeah, there is very technical once you get to it. So right now we're in regular mode. You run around. That blue circle in the top left is our health bar. There will be platforming elements, or we can just kind of raise our hands in the air like we just don't care. And we have access to this little basic weapon here, the diffuser. What it is, just kind of a little zappy stun gun, and what it can do is disable robots like those fellows there. These are just basic introductory enemies. If we let them hover around long enough, they'll poke us with a little laser, but they're mostly there to introduce you to controls. We have a map. That's going to toggle on and off very often, because the button that maps to that map it's where square or the Y button would be on regular controls. It's the B button for the 64. So anyway, we have our means of walking and moving. And those are the fundamentals. We have a crawl button somewhere. Yes, the C buttons are all for camera stuff. Convenient, as I have those stuck on an analog stick. There we go. Z is crawl. Crawl will find uses. L doesn't do anything. Good. Alright, that's most of the controls in place. And D-pad doesn't do anything. Good. Hello! Helpful orange technician man. Get ourselves a code key. So yes, at this point, no one down here seems to know anything is wrong. As far as they know, we are Mr. Diaz. We work here. We belong here. We seem to merit a little bit of respect, given that this random guy is willing to just lend us his key card when we lost ours. And this is a ladder. Ladders are kind of innately amusing because they're just boxes with arm texture on them there. So clang our way down. Just the key card is going to be a recurring roadblock that we'll have to deal with, because as we heard from him, they changed the security codes in response to emergencies. And if we walk up to this door here, that has a card slot, and try to give it a poke, that code, the code that's on it, has expired. So we need to go find a security station and get this card renewed before we can use it to go there. Involve going on a little bit of a trek. Bureaucracy quest. Ah! And yes, our health also has a number to it that we can see when we're injured. 5 ain't nothing right now. I don't think damage from robots contributes to our stat growth, so it's something to be avoided. Another type of robot, these little searchlight fellows, if you cross their beam, they'll get angry and laser you. As they do. This box is a box. They contain treasure. This bright green square is some sort of medical device. And that's our card renewing station. Just pop that in there, presumably enter some kind of credentials. I would hope you need credentials to get an up-to-date security code. Maybe it just needs to have the last valid code on it already in order to... Who knows? But we have somebody's key, and it's still a valid key. No one's ever going to think to cancel this key on us, so... Yeah, we get it renewed, up to date, and then we're allowed to go open that door. Fundamentals. A lot of objects in the game are also interacted with just by walking up to them, and it automatically, just by context, figures out that that's what you need to do. More essentially tutorial hallway of just, you know, here's a bar, here's a ditch, here's robots. Figure out that you have buttons you can use to navigate your... Figure out that the camera will really freak out. The security robots just seem to be kind of paranoid. Maybe we've forgotten whatever, like, friend or foe code we were supposed to have that convinces the robots to shut up. Maybe they're just acting weird. Who knows? Sometimes robots can be like that. Hello, new technician. What up? Apparently this just happens often enough that, you know, when the security system forgets who friend or foe are, just, you know, carry a gun. Don't worry about it. Just clearly you, good and upright employee Mr. Diaz, are not behind... I just noticed for the first time that his vest doesn't go all the way down to his belt line. You can see his abs there. And he's wearing bright blue suspenders. Mr. Diaz is a strange man. Interesting taste in fashion on our good Mr. Diaz. Alright, we're downstairs. Let's see what we got here. Storage room of some sort. Largely clear. Oh, there's the one box we can open. More cube. I think for some reason as a youth I would think of the healing packs as being tofu squares. Perhaps filled with dangerous amounts of dye. Very elaborately colored snack cubes. This door, as you can see by being lit red, is currently locked off. It might become accessible at a later point, but, you know, it doesn't have any key slot or switch on it or anything, so that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes those are just there as placeholders, like, you know, to get, ooh, hey, random drop. These happen sometimes. Not particularly common, but, you know, it's great when they do, just especially since these robots do respawn when you re-enter rooms, so having at least a little bit of a reward for putting up with the tedium of removing them over and over again is nice. So yeah, sometimes those red doors are just placeholders. They're just there to make the place feel more lived in and will never open. So we came in over there. Head out over here. Other times it's just because you're going to pass through a room more than once and it's one route on the way in, other route on the way out. We'll see. Things are gonna get probably a little bit dicey once the game expects any amount of platforming out of me, because, you know, I believe the control scheme right now does not recognize the analog stick as an actual... Maybe it does. I'm not sure if it's analog stick proper or analog stick being buttons that pretend to be an analog stick. It's hard to say. Also, the crawling, if you crawl, you go to tank controls. That's a little weird. Alright, so cubes. Alright, yes, there we go. Climb. Climb is the thing. You touch the thing, then you try to jump, and you will climb it instead. That large cube with the glowy spots there can be broken with the diffuser. And this glowy thing is attached to an appropriately colored force field like that one. We will see many more of those in the future. They are used to interact with the world, and there is our first save booth. Refreshing. So yeah, each of these, it's a full heal and a save point. You can always wander back in to get yourself topped off whenever need be. There is rumble support for this, if you really feel like tediously flipping rumble pack or memory card in and out when you so choose to save, because that was a thing the Nintendo 64 did, you know. Just put information storage on the same slot as the miscellaneous accessory hole on the controller. As you do. Alright, box, what do you got for me? Yep, just more health. Helpful. Nothing else in here. Just continue moving in the only other direction we're allowed to go. I do not believe there are any mimics over the course of Hybrid Hybrid Hoover, Herbert Hoover, the video game. Yeah, boxes are just gonna be boxes. A little bit of a depth problem there. These things happen with emulation. Alright, so we've been scanned, and whatever this is seems to approve of us. Yeah, cube. Green words. Yes, this is text, surely. Green words. Green, yes. Yellow. Yellow is also a color of words. Yellow word, yeah. Well, red words. Okay, maybe. Slow down. There was a lot of red words just now. Red would. Okay, I think we're done. Well, that was an interaction. We just did something. That door is locked. Door back to the save point's also locked. No choice but to move on. Hello? Huh. I don't know if there's any, like, official decoding of what the mystery words were in Cube Room, but, somebody just unlocked the security system and released all the bioweapons. Who could that be? Yeah, he seems pretty suspicious. The moment the bioweapon alarm goes off, you're just right here on the door, and conveniently, all evidence of you is disposed of by this bioweapon. Hello, first enemy of the game. Okay, so combat system. It's very fluid and dynamic and mobile and so forth, so I'm just going to spend a moment to quickly mash the button here and stop and explain things. So right now, we are in fight. We are going to fight this monster with our martial arts skills. So, as you started to see there, we have up there, we have our health, we have our power bar, that is used to prepare to launch attacks. As soon as the bar is charged up enough to go green, you can make a move, which you do by popping open this menu, which stops time and lets you decide what you want to do. If you want to wait for the bar to fill all the way in order to actually strike at full power. If you strike with a less than charged bar, your move will not be as good. Stamina is there. That is used to sprint rather than the usual shuffling around you can do. If you want to quickly change position, you can sprint by spending stamina. Stamina is also used to fuel, like, grappling moves, suplexes, and so forth. Those will bite a little bit into your stamina. So anyway, yeah, you can push button at any time, stop time, look over, we can use healing items. If we had any attack items, we could use those as well, and we can use moves. Right now we're a little bit far away from him for moves, and stamina does regenerate over time. Less so if you're moving around, so you gotta... That's the thing you budget for in planning and maneuvering and so forth. Yeah, our bar's not quite full, and we're still a little bit far away from him, so I'm gonna back out of this and just allow... We did... You can see we spent a little bit of bar to stop. And that's what happens. So yeah, we shuffle around, we duck and weave, and whoop. Alright, so what I just did there, I stepped close enough to him that he decided to use a move, so now time stops and we get to decide how we're gonna respond. We're not sure what he's doing. I can tell you now that this enemy with the hook hands mostly uses punches, mostly uses hooks, so we can decide to try and block him, try and step in a direction to evade him, or try to throw a counterattack, and what you want to do depends on what's going on. I'm actually just going to block because, as I mentioned earlier, you learn by doing in this game, so taking hits and taking little bits of damage is how we build up defense and so forth. Also, we want to see him demonstrate his moves in order to learn them, and it doesn't matter because he missed anyway. Alright, so he just used an upper right hook. That's a move we don't have. Alright, let's try guarding again. Give me your best shot. Ah, damn, he nicked us square in the noggin. Alright, we have to avenge that. So the general dynamic between our sets of moves here is that punches are faster, kicks hit much harder. Try to block again. Come on. There we go. We just leveled up our left arm's defense a little. Alright, so now, let's introduce the other main mechanic here, grappling. At any time you can hit R to try to grab someone, and then you are in grab state. They can try to leave if they want, and you can shuffle each other around while you're in grab. And once you are in grab, you can throw down your techniques. Like so. Techniques hit really hard. They use your body rating for damage and defense and so forth. Alright, let's see if we can shuck and let's oh, nope. That was a bad plan. I just walked right into that one. So let's punish him for this. And like I said, there's a very large list of techniques we have. What we're allowed to use at a given time depends on our situations. Like this, just straightforward, we're grabbing a dude while he's in front of us. We just have those two moves right now. You get a ranking based on how you did during the fight. High rankings give you bonus item drops. And then we learn things. So we just learned a bunch of hooks from fighting Hook Hands, the Hook Beast. As can happen. We still don't have access to the save points, so we're gonna have to move forward with what we've got here. Fortunately, we have lots of healing items, so we'll be able to recover if we have to when we get into another fight. So yeah, then the rest of your techniques are all context sensitive. Like, there are different techniques for when you have the enemy on the ground, unconscious. If you manage to get behind them and grab them, there's different techniques there. And so forth. It is all highly technical. Alright, new room. Up. Fucked up sheep man. Same. I don't think you ever have to fight more than one enemy at a time, no. It's always duels. Just mono a mono. Mono a monster. Agreed. And yeah, those are both enemy types we'll get to fight later. Every enemy type has its distinctive sets of moves it favors and so forth. Yeah, we got a serious problem with this bioweapon outbreak. What's the deal? Readjusted synthesized monsters. You wouldn't want any of those raw, uncalibrated monsters. I mean, you save money, but you really want to do you want that done by a professional. You don't want one of those, you know, not do-it-yourself monsters where they just send you all the animal parts and an Allen key and expect you to create your own hell beast. No. Not worth it. Yeah, bioweapon outbreak. You should be fine, Mr. Diaz. You're large. You got nothing to worry about. Man of your stature has no fear. I probably read the same article in Nintendo Power about this, and that is how I wound up purchasing it back in the day. Physical copy is about in the room. Man, you just have the best job of the day. Guard the broken door. New type of robot on display over there. Those little fellows on the ground will, if they notice you, they'll try to rush towards you and explode. You have to aim down in order to tase them, so they're a little trickier. Fortunately, the area of effect on the diffuser is very generous. The developers understood that you don't have the most precise of controls with your Nintendo 64 joystick there, so... Which is great when you're only suffering for a, telephone game of interface devices. These lockers here also contain treasure. More cube. Cube. Always good to get some cube. Hello. Use your map to map. Thank you, technician. Alright, let's just take a moment to pop one of these cubes into us. The charger small heals up to 100 health. Very helpful. So at this point it's a full heal for us. That will drop off. So that panel over there is as close as this game ever gets to grinding. They will eventually run out, but every time we walk into this room it will spawn one of these guys. And so we can repeat some fights here in order to practice and get large. Let's give you a little bit of your own medicine here. Surprised we knocked him down. At this point, we can't really act fast enough to capitalize on any time we knock somebody over, but when you do, once we have access to the combo bar, it'll be possible to do one move to knock somebody down and then circle around and whoop, wait, yep, get me, come on, yes, yes. Excellent! Double S rank! Yeah, these general stats here will upgrade, and when you get a higher rank, the enemy will drop an item for you. A ring eraser, I forget what that even does. It's not usable. Can I get a description? I guess we'd have to go and look at an FAQ to see. FAQ or the manual, so, the official FAQ. Perhaps we've just found office supplies on this terrifying hook beast. Yeah, the enemy designs, mostly through, choice of weird textures, do a pretty good job of conveying monstrous things within the limits of the Nintendo 64. Textures were always its big thing that it didn't do especially great. It had very small size to work with, so you had your limitations on the developers. Mid, right hook. I think there's also a button that lets us change which direction we're orienting our stance while we're here. Maybe. Yes, there we go. B button lets us switch which hand we're leading with. Nope. No counter here. Let us punish this. Yes, that allowed us to set this up because of the direction of it, because we throw him overhead and leave him facing the wrong way. That gives us the headlock. You can see that red flashing that briefly occurred there. If you take notable damage to a part of your body, it briefly goes into, like, pain mode and suffers some debuffs for a while. And so, by suplexing, we were able to inflict that upon the monster's torso. Very helpful. We'll do a couple more rounds of this just to get comfortable, shore up our numbers. Won't last particularly long. These devices run out after like some tangible number of fights. Step into it. Yes. Your tiny kicks are no match for my mighty throw. Just throw a nice straight. Yeah, there's naturally like heights that attacks happen at. It's just high, middle, and low. And did not step close enough to him. Great job, Diaz. Yeah, that is another thing. Your kicks have much more reach, as your legs are quite lengthy compared to your arms. Okay. Not bad. Get a little more general defense. Not good enough for an item. It's just S and double S that give you the extra item. Have at me. Actually, I want you to flip me. Show me if you haven't. Do you have any wrestling moves? Come on. Come on, grab him, man. Aw, come on. Grab him and. Grab him and why you gotta be so rude? I want you to just hug it out, bro. Hug it out, come on. Do you have any wrestling moves to show me? No? You're garbage. I despise you. Alright, good. We guard. Now we show you the dance. There we go. Throwing the attack early makes it, you know, go a little weaker, but you get it out now. It has its uses. Rank C. So, boost our arm defense. It's nice. And naturally, no, the heights of attacks affect which parts they'll be aiming at. Middle attacks go after the torso and arms, low attacks go after the legs. High attacks swing straight for the head. Yeah, regular punches not that great. You can see there as well, counter option grayed out if you don't happen to have enough bar at the time of throwing the attack. Yeah, punch damage very low compared to other attack types. And you start to get an intuitive feel for how much reach things have, how much you will travel in the process of rendering any given attack. And then from that, you get a feel for which defensive moves will probably do their best. Yeah, just give you a little pat on the back, I guess. And you can see there that our max stamina actually declined a little bit. That's a temporary thing that happens within the fight when you spam moves. That's like, because we strung two wrestling moves together, it lowered our cap temporarily for the fight. That'll happen if you overextend. It's a dynamic. If only there were equipment in this game, but there's no equipment proper. which maybe would count in its favor anyway, you know. I mean, there we go, we've managed to drain the enemy thingy. Relying only on our fists and legs and so forth. Our many limbs, appendages and core working as one. And yeah, our only equipment, per se, is the diffuser, and you can get combat items, but they're just one-off expendables rather than any sort of long-term gear that you put on Diaz. There we go, we've managed to get around that broken door. Oh. What up, weird lava scab man? Alright, so he has his own set of moves that we're going to want to sample. We get a chance. Also, since these fights happen in, you know, the ordinary rooms, you can have a lot of different shapes of Battlefield. Yes, middle side kicks. That's what this guy does. Arm throw, that's what we do. Our gimmick is being the grappling monster. There are counter options that you have when you have been grabbed. They're essentially analogous to stepping, guarding, and trying to counter. They're like go with it, reversal, and something else. They do the analogous things of mitigate damage, try to evade, and try to fight back. Alright, we just sprained your arm, I guess. That's good. Yeah, the thin thing. Weak. Fight games indeed. Defense boost, and we've learned the low side kicks. Handy. And while the move list will gradually increase over time, I don't think it ever gets particularly bloated. Like, we'll continue to gradually accrue moves, but you get a core sense of things. It's not like we're ever going to be picking up anything drastically different, world-altering, strange things. Just, you know, we have more kinds of punch and kick. All the variations. Get away from my treasure. I need these. Important business. Battle Charger. I think that's a combined health and stamina item, is what that does. Still don't know what the ring eraser is for. We'll have to figure that out. And that's just dead end. So, on we go. Deeper into the complex, which is not being very well janitored, I guess because of the, whoa! You are an impressive looking thing. Oh, green, spicular, and asymmetrical eyes. I welcome you, Lizardman. Oh, wait, he has grab. He wants to grab. Alright, yeah, take fall, escape, and reversal. Let's take the fall. I want to see what he does. Show me your moves. Neck throw. I like it. Alright, no, you don't get behind me, buddy. I get behind you. Let us engage in exchange of pleasantries. Should also probably pop a healing item, because if this guy suplexes hit hard, it is important that we maintain a safety zone here. Take fall. Yep, he's just gonna keep on neck throwing, and that's our torso sore. Boot him, I guess. There we go. Okay, good. Having damaged his leg, he is now slowed. We'll have a much easier time. A little bit. He's still really fast, even with his leg damaged. Let's try the other one, see if we can bop both. Alright, now. Damn it. It's quick. A worthy foe. Oh, new move. Brainbuster. I love it. And we're now terribly injured. We should correct this. He is powerful indeed, this lizardman. Give him the old right mid kick. Patriotic boot. Alright, that was a tough one. Much was learned, many numbers improved. And we learned neck throw, but not brainbuster. Weird. Oh well, we'll see more of him eventually. Whole lot of stat boosts. So much was learned from our dear departed comrade, Weird Lizardman. Oh, we've picked up a beat on the soundtrack. Where this bass coming from? Ah, good. Save booth. Alright, that was a good first leg of the game. Let's just top ourselves off, record data. Yeah. Refreshing.